Hey everybody, welcome to AFTERBUZZ TV. Tonight we're talking Six on the History Channel, Episode 5, Collateral. Tonight, live in studio, Donny Boaz, who plays Buck. He's gonna have all the inside scoop of everything Six. Stick around, we're gonna talk to him.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
All my exes live in Texas.
Welcome to the show.
Howdy, partner.
All right.
What's going on over here?
I don't know. Hey, welcome guys. Six on the History Channel here live AFTERBUZZ TV. We got Donny, we got Sally, we got me. My name is Daniel Lindgren. You can follow me at @DanLindgren on Instagram and Twitter. Over to my girl Sel.
Well, howdy, y'all. I'm Sally, and you can catch me on all things social media at Sally Hangout.
I think she's just trying to mimic my accent. You want to find me on my Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Donny Boaz.
Donny, very humble, Donny.
Yes,
Thank you so much for being here, man. This is going to be
Yes.
great.
Dan,
so
Sally,
awesome.
thanks for having me.
This is how we initiate you onto the Six Show. You know, he's from Texas.
He's the first person I was initiate everybody on our show. That's how everybody gets
Come on,
initiated.
Dan, don't be...
I mean, yeah, every week, yeah. You, as everybody knows that's watching, you play Buck on the show.
Yes.
And before we get to your death scene, which I'm sorry to say.
Wait, I'm dead?
Wait, you didn't know? They haven't told you yet, huh?
Spoiler
You're
alert.
going back next week.
Yes, and if you guys have any questions for Donny, make sure you hit us up on the live feed. We'll have the chat up, and we'll be able to talk to you guys. And also, hit me on Twitter at Sally Hangout, and I will be making sure your questions get answered.
I want to talk about your role on the show. Now, for the first couple weeks, Sally and I were in here, we're talking.
Oh my gosh.
And every once in a while, we'd see you in the back. You have like one or two lines. And like 1 week, I said, Buck is my like favorite character, and he has 2 lines. Like, how is he doing this to me? How am I liking Buck this much?
Dan loved
I
you
said,
from day one.
And I said, why? I said, over under, does he get more than 5 lines the next week? And this was going into episode 4. And in episode 4, that was your episode.
Yes.
I was like, finally. And then at the end of the episode, it's like, oh, okay, great. My favorite character. But what I wanted to ask you about, I just went on a really run-on sentence there, but I don't care. This is great. I want to ask you about the scene, the webcam scene in, I don't know, maybe episode 2, was it, Sally? Where we see your wife, and you say that you're not sure you can trust her. And I said to myself, something's going down with this, but we never got to see your relationship, and I was super disappointed by that.
There was a lot that doesn't get shown. I mean, when you're sitting there reading the script, there was a whole play out where Chase, I'm introducing him, and not only in episode 4, where I'm putting him through the works, but he's also our tech expert. And I was like, all right, you're going to help me set cameras up in my house, and there's this whole scene written out. We're breaking in. He's like, dude, I can't break into a house. And I was like, it's my house. You want me to break into your own house? Shut up, get in here and let's do it. And we just could. So much gets cut in the meantime. And even things that you film, you're just like, well, that's not there. And so the show is so good. I am such a TV nut myself, and I'm kind of addicted to Six myself.
Oh my God!
Can you give me a copy of the deleted scenes?
Listen,
we want a copy.
we need a
Everyone
DVD.
does.
We need an editor's cut special. The crazy thing about it is, from the beginning, Dan and I were like, man, it's only 8 episodes. They're gonna have to pack so much in, and I already knew there was gonna be all this stuff that we were gonna miss. And then I was just like, oh man, like there's so much I want more, and hopefully history, please extend it, make it more.
Yeah. Was there any scenes with you and your wife Tammy that were cut that you guys did together?
Episode 1, there was the 6 of us. We were at the quinceañera, Juan Pablo's daughter.
yes.
We were
Buddha's
there.
kid,
And the 6 of us are actually singing at the quinceañera, and there's this play out between Barry, Bear, and his wife, me and my wife, JP and his wife, and so you're showing all of these relationships. The whole song gets cut. I mean, we probably spent half a day singing this song. I had my voice at the end of the day, and we were all, my girl, and Barry was actually a rock star. I don't know if you knew this before he became an actor, and so he actually made his very first album the same week he got booked onto a show, and so he had the choice, music, movies, and so I was like, all right, you're the singer, you're gonna have to lead me in this. It's like, hey, I guess.
Yeah, you
that
say.
voice.
Oh, I love it.
That
Completely
voice.
cut. So hopefully that is in the outtakes. But it showed more of the relationships because Tammy, my wife, Britt, she said,
Oh, I love
and
that.
so it showed more of the relationships and us being close, and I probably got a couple smacks on her butt. And
good.
And
So it was a win-win for everybody.
The
then.
perks
Win-win.
of being an actor.
Sally, I know you got some questions for him. Do you want to get that out before the death stuff?
There's so much to discuss in questions, but I want to get into the episode and ask him as we go, because I'm ready. I'm ready to rant.
The death scene. Our question last week was, were you wearing a bulletproof vest or no?
Right.
We didn't understand what was happening.
But you know what's so crazy? Someone actually answered. They tweeted it for us. But during we were watching it live, I was like, I don't understand. Cops wear bulletproof vests, but then these guys are about to go into these missions where death is very, very highly possible. How do you just get shot like that?
It comes down to your training. When I was in weapons training, they put us through not only SEAL training, but weapons training for this. And they had to break me day one when I'm sitting there with my gun, AR-15 or whatever they have in my hand, the saw. And you want to blade off. Blade off means that I'm turning my hips in and I'm doing this, leaving my rib cage open.
Okay.
You always want to square off because this is where your steel plate is.
Yeah.
And so that's the way that they train you. And I'm doing exactly what I was supposed to, here, and somebody ends up shooting me from the side. If Kyle had just been 4 seconds sooner, I would still be on the show.
Frickin' Kyle,
Thanks,
man.
Kyle.
Come on, Kyle.
Man.
But it's the cost of war, and there's something that Barry says, somebody has to pick up the tab, and sadly, just even 2 weeks ago in Yemen, we just had a member of SEAL Team 6 fall, and that is a part of war, and it's... And that was one of the hard things. David Broyles, Bill Broyles' son, they're the creators of the show and the writers, and he was a pararescue, and he lost men in battle, and that is a part of the story that had to have been told. And I knew when I was signing contracts this was it, and I never said anything to anyone. I think my mother might have been the only one that knew, not even my own sister. She's chewing me out on my text messages.
Right.
You didn't tell your own sister?
Yeah.
And I even, Edwin, who plays Chase, he about cussed me out there on the set when he read script 4. He's like, man, how can you not tell a brother, man? He's like, you've known this entire time. I didn't want it to be about that. I didn't want the pity, oh, I'm sorry, you're not going to be here next week. It's just, you let everybody feel it when it happens, when it reacts.
Yeah.
My best friends on the planet didn't know. My own family didn't know. And that's actually kind of hard to...
He knows how to keep secrets.
Yeah. You didn't tweet us here at AfterBuzz TV?
Nobody knew.
During your video...
I actually might have told Sarah Fink, my publicist, about it. I needed her to know what was coming up.
During your the montage, the video montage that they play a song, and I know that meant something to you and your family. If you could tell us all about that, that'd be great.
The name of the song is "Lord, It's Hard to Be Humble." They'd actually tried to get "Friends in Low Places," but I was like, that means something, Garth Brooks. But you're not going to pay $500,000 for that song.
They paid $500,000 to put that on there.
If you wanted to get "Friends in Low Places."
Oh, okay.
So I was like, guys, since you're not going to pay that out, even though this is one of the most expensive shows on TV to shoot, it's like $6-8 million an episode. I think it's top 5 most expensive shows, and after you watch it, you see why.
Yeah.
But Lord, It's Hard to Be Humble is the family song. Every Thanksgiving, my father, he can sing. He opens up concerts for Alan Jackson, Reba McEntire. And we play it around a pool table and at my aunt's house in Arkansas. And Lord, it's hard to be humble. And so I guess it was probably before we got out of SEAL training, I'd already taught all the guys. They fell in love with the song. And when we couldn't get Friends in Low Places, I kind of stuck my hand up. Hey, David, how about we try and get this song? He tried to play hardball. I was like, no, it's $5,000, $10,000. I don't think we can afford it. He was just playing it off because it was supposed to be a surprise to me that they ended up putting the song in the show.
Yeah, that's so dope.
I know that means a lot to my father's side of the family. My sister, she even Facebook tweeted out about it. She was like, it's a sad day, but we got the family song on national TV, so that was cool.
Well, you did talk about the training that you had to go through, and I know one of our folks that follow us, her name is Shannon O'Kelly, and she wanted to know, for this role, what was the hardest thing physically and mentally to prepare for?
I was excited about SEAL training. February 14th, 2016 is when I found out I booked the show, and February 17th is when we started SEAL training, so it's been right at a year.
Well, happy anniversary then.
Right.
For all that, yeah.
I've known the guys 1 year now. God, how do you just create family, and this is what it is. I was excited about it. I'm an athlete. I've always been an athlete. It's what I identified myself as a child. I went from cross-country, football, basketball, baseball, track, tennis, summer basketball, rinse and repeat. It's all I did. It's all I knew. And so I couldn't have been more excited about this. I did a film in the past called My All-American, got to play quarterback for the University of Texas. And who doesn't want to be quarterback for the University of Texas, especially if you're from Texas.
Right.
And so we got to go through 2 and 3 a day football training for that. And of course, that's fun. You're playing football. So I was excited to get into SEAL training. And when I was 18 years old, I wanted to be a Navy SEAL. I stood in front of a Navy recruiter. They took me through the steps. I took the ASVAB, scored off the charts on it, scored a 96, raised my hand and said, I will serve my country. And I'm supposed to be deployed 1 month later. And in that 1 month, I got signed as a model and got a full ride scholarship to play football. And so now I had a fork in the road of which one do you want to do.
This guy.
And so I chose the modeling football route.
You know, it's
instead.
crazy. No one ever comes up to me on the street and says, hey, you want to be a model? They don't do that to me, though. But Donny.
It's the hair.
How did
It's the
Donny?
hair.
I would like to know how that happened, though. Did someone just came up to you when you're walking around the mall? Like, how does that go down?
I was a personal trainer.
Okay.
This lady walked up to me and she says, you ever thought about doing any modeling?
Like, at the gym?
Yeah. I was like, no, modeling's for birds. Nobody wants to do that.
For birds.
And she said, no, I think you'd be really good at this. I'm like, I'm really not interested. And she's like, look, I'll train with you for like a month or 2 months. I'm like,
Wow.
all right, where do we go?
I'll give you money if
I'll
you'll
give
be
you
a
money
model
just
with
to
me.
do this.
So I went to Kim Dawson there in Dallas and ended up getting signed. My first job was Mothers Against Drunk Driving. I sat on a couch and laughed and made more money in 2 hours than I did all week as a personal trainer. It's like, well, maybe modeling
Maybe
isn't for the
this is,
birds.
Right.
this is where I go next.
Second
yeah.
job was Abercrombie. They sent me off to San Francisco for a week, and my third job was a runway show in Milan. It changed my life.
Dude.
Between the ages of 19 and 25, I went to about 27 countries, all with a job. Got to see the world at a young age, and so modeling changed my life.
Yeah.
I mean, I could have taken that other fork in the road. Who would I be today if I actually was a member?
But you still, like, look at how God works, right? Because, like, you still got to be a Navy SEAL.
Thank
In
you,
a particular
Jesus.
way, right? You know, like, art, I always say this, art imitates life and life imitates art. And the beauty of that is that, as I believe that as an actor, you get to be all the things that you were kind of good at, but not great at. You know, you can be a basketball player on TV. You could be a Navy SEAL, football player. You get to do all these things that, you know, you may not have time to do in real life.
It's been a full circle several times. When I was playing football in college, modeling came back to bite me. I did a Calvin Klein underwear ad, and you're not allowed to do any kind of promotional thing, so I ended up losing my scholarship. And I thought my whole world was over because I couldn't play football anymore. And it just sent my life again in another direction. 10 years later, I get to come back, and I'm playing football. And I thought that that was a dream role of a lifetime, but being a member of this, Six, represents something so much more than being a quarterback for a college football team. And what you were asking about SEAL training, I was so excited to show up to SEAL training. I was like, I usually am the best, especially when it comes to actors. I mean, because they've been acting since they were 6, 7, so they have, that's their background. My background is sports. Okay, let's go. I love to compete. I'm probably the most competitive person I know, besides my sister. She and I would go at it. We will box in the living room right now. We
Really?
we love to
How
compete.
old's your sister?
My sister's 2 years younger than me. She's 34. And
So now you're saying your age as well.
Right. Hint, hint.
what is, my sister is the real deal, though. My sister's been in the Navy for 15 years now.
Oh, wow. God
And
bless.
as hard as SEAL training was, I probably was the best athlete. I was the best runner, the best swimmer. That put a target on my back real quick. And that's usually what happens in real SEAL training.
Yeah.
Buds. Whoever's the fastest, whoever's the strongest swimmer, that puts a target on your back because that makes you the individual. And it's not about you, it's about the team. And so they had to break me first. They teamed me up with the weakest runner. They teamed me up with the weakest swimmer. He wasn't
That was
just
in SEAL Fit they were doing this
in
to you?
SEAL Fit.
Crazy.
And the guy that was the weakest runner had a bum knee. And so I'm having to move, in my opinion, like a snail's pace when I just want to be a gazelle and go.
Yeah.
And when they teamed me up with the weakest swimmer, he wasn't just the weakest swimmer. He couldn't swim. It's not only could he not swim, he was afraid of water.
Wow.
And so we're told, swim to the buoy, go down, grab sand, stick it on your head, come up, put your hands out of the water and tread water. And it's probably 200 yards out of the buoy. And I do that for fun.
Yeah, right.
But try and do that with not leaving 6 feet away from your swim buddy who's afraid of water.
Yeah.
And so I'm the guy that lets his partner drown. And of course, I'm the one that has to be punished because it's like, well, how do you achieve a mission?
Who were these guys? Were they any of your cast members? Or these
Yes.
like,
Oh,
so you're gonna, yeah.
somebody.
Who's this guy that can't swim?
Who's afraid of water?
Who can't swim?
I am not going to say
Oh,
him.
man.
But I think it's beautiful how you're talking about how in SEAL Fit they taught you the importance of brotherhood, and that's so,
It was great.
it's
I love that.
reflected so beautifully on screen, and especially in this episode, unfortunately, with your passing, and even down to like when they go into the cell to try to find Rip. the FD1 with the chalk, like all these little things that says, these are my brothers, these are my people, you know, going into his cage and finding his personal belongings. Like, just since episode 1, I've gotten to see all these little, like, gems of, like, what it means to be part of this secret society.
What was important to us was to make it real. I mean, because the everyday man can see something and wouldn't notice these things, but we have a higher accountability to not only the men and women that serve this country, but the highest elite fighting force the world has ever known, DevGru. You have to make them proud. You have to, I mean, and the thing is, sometimes you're never going to be able to meet up to their standards, but I want to come pretty damn close. And we had 3 members of DevGru, SEAL Team 6, that were in our ear hole constantly, and if we were doing something that wasn't up to par, they were there to tell us. SEAL training is the hardest thing I ever did. Ever in my life. 2 and 3 days, football, Texas heat, 110 degrees, nothing in comparison. Longest I may have worked out in my life, 3 hours. You ever worked out for 68 hours straight? Waterboarded yourself in 6-foot waves in the Pacific?
You worked out for 68 hours straight. No sleep.
No sleep. We thought we were going to get sleep one night. They let us go to bed at 8, and they kicked in our door at 8:30 downstairs, 2 minutes.
God, right when you go to sleep, right? Right when you hit that.
Oh, but it's like you've been up since 0500, and then finally you think you get to lay down. Your head hits the pillow. It's not even 2 seconds. You're out, and then kick in the door downstairs, and they're spraying you in the face with a hose, asking you questions. When did the SEAL start? We've got a guy that's British, another one that's Colombian, another one's Canadian. What do they know about American history? And it's like John F. Kennedy, 1963. They're like, who? What? And so you stay down in push-up position until you figure out the answer, because somehow that helps you figure out the answer.
What?
And then I think we were doing that for about an hour and a half. And then you had to go out in the ocean, hold arm in arm in the Pacific in February, and just get beat up by waves.
So where the training was in?
We were down in San Diego.
San Diego, yeah.
Wow. Talk about hardcoreness for a role. You know, like a lot of people out there, you know, they say they want this career, but I mean, when you hear stuff like this, it's like, you gotta...
I have to be honest, it's almost even a crapshoot, because I've met some actors that are kind of soft. I mean, we're spoiled. We're spoiled. And that spoiled can catch up with you. And I've been in fighting scenes, fake fighting scenes, where somebody takes a punch and they're like, oh, my neck, go ahead and bring my stunt double in. I'm like, come on, man. Somebody won't even fall on the ground without a mat.
Right.
We're not those 6 guys. They got 6 guys that just wanted it. And we had some guys at moments that... The whole point is to break you.
Right.
And we had a guy that was broken in 3 hours said, I don't need this. I don't need this.
Oh, and you're not going to tell me who that is, right?
No.
Who, did you break? You can tell me that?
No.
You did not break?
No.
Awesome.
No. The strongest of us was probably Juan Pablo Raba.
Of course.
He,
Vamos.
No matter who he said there, if he said Bear, oh yeah, of course, Bear. You love all these guys.
I do. I love them all. Oh my God.
We actually had a mutiny moment. One of our guys wanted to pull everybody else. Said, guys, we don't need to do this anymore. We've proven everything. And they look at me and they're like, well, what are you going to do, Buck? And I said, I'm going to stay with my team. And they're like, now you want to be a member of the team. You were running off and swimming off without everybody else, and now you want to be a member of the team. And Juan Pablo said, well, I just can't quit. And I looked at him and I go, well, I'm not going to let him go alone. And so he and I were back in the water. I looked at him and go, I don't want to go back in the water. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. We've been awake for 60 hours. And I just don't want to go back in the water. Anything but go back in the water. And it's so cold. If you shake, you have the shivers. But I'm talking full body convulsing. I want to hug a naked man because he's got heat next to him.
Right.
I mean, I'm hugging guys that I don't even know because it's so cold. And we finished. We showed up as 6 complete strangers. We left as 6 brothers. And I believe that shows not only in the show, but it showed at the table read. We showed up and it was 72 people there. People in New York could see this camaraderie that was already there. They gave us a challenge coin. And I'd heard about challenge coins. If you're in the military, a higher ranking officer gives you a challenge coin because you've done something to earn it, an achievement. Yeah. I didn't know what that would mean to me. They handed me that challenge coin. They put it in the palm of my hand, and I broke. I mean, because it meant something. My sister has about a dozen of those.
You just have the
Your
one.
Your sister's a bad mamma jamma.
Yes, she is.
Oh, come
yes, she
on.
Is. And I will take full blame and credit for how tough she is. And it meant a lot to me. My first phone call after SEAL training, everybody called that person that was special to them, and I called my sister. And for Christmas, I gave that SEAL coin to my sister because she's the real deal. 15 years, she's going to be a lifer. She's going to spend 20 years in the Navy.
So she's got the coin
and
now. That's great.
She's been promoting the show throughout the Navy, and we've been getting some good feedback from them. So
how long was your training with those guys?
We had about a week of SEAL training. Here's the thing: BUDS last 6 months, and Hell Week.
I was going to ask how much do they really? They
6
SEALs
months.
really train.
BUDS is 6 months, and that's just the initial training. That's what weeds the men from the boys, but the dropout rate is 80%. So only 20% of them make it, and that's just SEALs. Now we're talking about DevGru SEAL Team 6. Only 5% of those 20, so 2 out of every 100 people that try out for SEALs actually going to be a member of SEAL Team 6. This represents something so big.
Wow.
And what an honor to be a part of it.
Yeah, that's
He's
Even if
dropping
I am-
so much knowledge.
Yeah.
Oh my
Isn't that
God.
great? I feel so good right now.
Yeah.
We need to have you on every week. Yeah,
Every week.
Sarah? Sarah?
I got to start divulging who does what, who was the mutiny, who quit 3 times, who can't swim.
You're giving us the
much.
scoop. I mean, everyone wants to know the scoop
Yeah.
every
I'm
week.
sure
You
one
give
of
us
the
a
other
little
guys
bit.
might
Yeah.
divulge this information.
Oh,
How,
all right.
how does it feel watching the show? Like, I mean, for us, we're over here writing all this stuff because I'm into it. What about you guys? Because I know you guys live tweet together and watch it together.
It means a lot. I've done 100 films and TV shows. I have never had a camaraderie or a brotherhood like this. And I've been on projects, and usually you start an open thread so you can communicate during the production.
A group text.
I've never had one that's probably lasted 2-3 weeks after production is done. You might tweet or something or text each other while it's airing, but then you move on to your life and you go on and have wife and kids and whatever. Not me, but everybody else. And
we'll get into that later, hopefully. Maybe.
But I'll pick up my phone and it'll say I have 108 missed texts.
Are you kidding me?
We have probably 2 or 3 threads. There's one of the entire cast. There's one of just the 6 of us. And these guys, Jalen won't ever stop texting.
Can you tell us about these get-togethers you guys have weekly
they
to
do.
watch the show?
Every week since episode 1, we've been getting together, and everybody hosts it at a different place.
Cool.
Episode 3, we went to Kim's house. She directed episode 3. She's known for Boys Don't Cry, and so we went to her house and watched it. Episode 4, I believe, wasn't at Barry's. That one was at Edwin's. Edwin is a phenomenal chef. You want great, amazing seafood, crab cakes, lobster, whatever you want. That's the guy's house you want to. He spoiled us there. Episode 5, Jalen took care of it. He is also a personal trainer. And the lady that started True Religion, we went to her house tonight, and just a beautiful mansion, and we're spoiled. Just get to sit and watch the show together, live tweet, and it's great to keep the team together. It's going to be sad after episode 8. We're going to have to find some reason to get together.
The lady that started True Religion, does she have any affiliation with the show?
She doesn't. Jalen
just
didn't
knew her?
think that his place was big enough to hold 25 people that show up every week, because it seems like our group keeps getting bigger and bigger. And he's like,
you got 2 more right here. We'll come watch it.
I will
guess.
totally come live
I'll see y'all
tweet with
next
y'all.
Wednesday for episode 6.
Oh, there we go.
Listen.
We got the invite.
There's your
Listen.
invitation.
Oh my God. So, should we get into this episode?
All right, let's get into the episode. I kind of just want. I want to get into the fact that the webcam is still rolling after your death,
Right.
and we don't find out till the end. But did you think, Sally, that anything was? What did you think was going to happen with the webcam thing? Because I know what I thought, but I want to get your opinion.
Okay, so
Because we saw it happen. We saw that the girl shut it off. Like, ooh,
okay,
she saw something.
let's talk
Dharma,
about the fact.
Dharma.
Yes, we found out her name, Dharma, and we did find out that she's in high school. Because last week, Dan asked me how old do I think she was, and I was like, high school. Maybe we'll give her freshman in college.
Right.
So I was right. High school. Hey now. But Dharma, when she played it, honestly, my first initial reaction was like, okay, let me not be quick to judge. I ain't the judge and jury. Somebody else is.
Okay.
So I was like, maybe she didn't cheat, because we didn't hear the end of it, right? I wanted to give her the benefit of the doubt, ladies and gentlemen. I was like, you know what? We didn't see it. Dharma stopped the tape. I'm
All
going to
right.
wait.
The one thing we know about Buck is that he tells it how it is. And he said in the episode 2, he's like, I think my wife's cheating on me. And I just said, I go, she definitely is. Buck just knows.
Listen, Dan.
I know you're right here. This is weird that he's right here. This is
listen.
how we would talk
This
if
is
you
how we
weren't
talk
here.
if you weren't here. But this is what I told Dan when we first saw it. I asked Dan, I was like, would you do that? Like, would you spy on your wife? And we talked about, like, the men who are away and kind of how hard it is on relationships. But
Casualties of war in all these different ways and how it
Right.
affects people, blah, blah, blah. Right.
But I want to give people the benefit of the doubt. I want to see the good in them. I see the good in people. So, hey, until proven guilty, I was innocent. Until then, later on, we found out the truth.
Now, Donny, when you were filming that, did you know ahead of time that she was cheating on you? Like in that scene when you said, I think my wife might be cheating on me, did they give you the scripts ahead of time knowing that she was, or did you not know?
I knew a base storyline. We didn't have that script. Usually you're halfway through, let's say, episode 2 before you get the script for episode 3, and you tear through it as fast as you can, so we're on our texting one another. This is war. I mean, one of the guys that trained us, I'm not allowed to say his name, even though he's on like 2 TV shows right now, but you don't know what he does in the military. He was gone for 270 days one year, 270 days the next year, 300 days the next year, and 300 days the next year. He's been married 15 years and has 4 kids.
Jeez.
How? I mean, that's the successful story.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and SEALs are different. I mean, just like you can see in the show, I mean, we have a different storyline because they can go off to war, be gone a week, and come back home. And most of the time when you're sent off on deployment, you're gone 9 months, 6 months, a year. You don't know. And when you don't have that warm body to keep your in your bed late at night, and here's the crazy story, a lot of times even after they do break up and get divorced, they go marry another member of SEAL Team 6. They keep doing the same thing. It's like, why not go marry the mailman that's going to be home?
Is it just like a habit type thing, or it's just like that's what they're used to? Or
these are the stories I hear. I don't know these people personally.
Right, of course.
But I do have a cousin that's in the military, and he went off, served 3 tours. He came home to an empty bank account and a wife that was gone. I mean, this happens more often than not. Bill, who is the writer of the show, he also wrote Jarhead, and I remember there's a story in there
with Jake Gyllenhaal.
And they send a DVD. They think they're watching Deer Hunter, but it's actually a woman sleeping with the neighbor and says, "Oh, you think you're the only one that can cheat?" And there's nothing he can do. These are real stories. These are true stories, and these men put their lives on the line. And as you see in episode tonight, what are we working for? $20 an hour. Well, after travel, it's about $18 an hour.
They definitely don't get paid enough.
Not near enough. And then they're not taking care of them when we get home. But that is a whole other story.
That's a whole other thing.
America, please take care of your veterans. We want to try and take care of the rest of the world. Please take care of the people that put their lives on the line. Please, please.
Shout it out, Donny. Keep going. It's fine. This is your voice right here. Anything you want to say?
There's a role that I portrayed on a film called Deep in the Heart, a man by the name of Dan Walrath. And I learned that veterans commit suicide every 22 people every day. This is something that I didn't know, but I find highly unacceptable. Within the last 3 years, I believe over 300,000 veterans have passed. Why? Why is our VA, and we just got through the new administration, whoever's the head of the new VA had 100% approval rate. So I hope this person steps in and does the job that needs to be done. And the thing is, they're not dying from what's happening at war, whether it be PTSD. A lot of times it's the medication they're taking back here. But Dan Walrath created an organization. He gives away a home a month, and he makes it possible for them to be able to take care of themselves. Sometimes they come back with no arms, no legs, and they have a wife and 3 kids, and our government gives them $1,300 a month. Where's that going to go? I couldn't get an apartment in Hollywood right now, a studio, so how am I going to take care of a family? And so a lot of times they lose all hope, and I'm worth more dead than alive, and that is an unacceptable feeling. I've got another friend that started an organization called Suiting Warriors, and people donate suits and they give them to these veterans when they come back so that they can have a chance to compete in the work field. And that is something I very much want to bring to the forefront. I mean, if this has given us any kind of platform, please, please, please take care of our veterans. They're putting their life on the line, and now we're all worried about people from Syria and Iraq can't get in the country. What about the 45 homeless veterans that are sitting on Skid Row over here? I want to go help those people. They seem to be more than my priority because they have fought for me. And I want this to be brought to the forefront of the conversation.
Yeah,
it's so important. I know you asked me earlier, what did I do for Valentine's Day? And that's what I did. I went to Skid Row to feed the homeless. And a lot of the guys and women out there are veterans. And it's just one of those things where it's like, talk about all the time, you can't keep taking from the world, you got to give back to it. And it's so important that this might not be your thing, you know, it may not be veterans, but find something that gives you purpose, meaning, and passion, and go help people, because we're not going to be here forever, but the time that we do, the limited time that God has given us here, let's put it to use. And so, and that's what I love about this show, that this show is giving people, I mean, I see the hashtag, they're veterans and people who have served that talk to you guys, and just reading the discussions, I'm so moved that, because I'm an actor myself, that when you use your vessel to be able to do that, to touch people and speak and be this voice. So kudos to you for doing that, and to all the men who are starting up these organizations.
Six was very helpful. You and I were talking before we came out here about homeless, and that being one of our passions to giving back. And I went to my parents have a church in Dallas, Texas, Fountain of the Living Word, and they sponsor a homeless shelter there, the International Street Church. And I've been blessed on projects from Dallas or Queen of the South, My All American. They've allowed me to donate. They donate the extra food, and we give it to this homeless shelter. And the homeless shelter, it's too much for them that they even take it beyond the streets. But Six, being in Wilmington, North Carolina, I didn't know a homeless shelter in Wilmington, but why not try? I went straight to the caterers, went to the producers, and I said, can we give away the extra food? I mean, because you see it day one, there's so much extra food. And they try to save as much as they can so there's not waste, but some just has to go. And so we found a Salvation Army there in Wilmington, North Carolina, and Six didn't even fight back. I mean, I've been on other productions like, no, we can't take the risk of somebody getting sick and then maybe suing the network. Six gave me no backlash. They were great. The executive producers like, nope, do whatever you can with it. And so I'm thankful for that, and that just shows the heart of the show.
That's amazing that you did that. I think that's great. Not to change subjects too much, but we'll
we
move
got
on
heavy
with the
there,
show.
didn't we?
Yeah, we got real heavy.
No,
but let's talk about this. Even after your death, Buck is still a badass, and he has that little speech that he wants to say to his buddies of how he wants to be
fired
buried
out of a canyon.
Yeah, fired out of a cannon. What did you think of the whole cannon scene, Sally?
Well, first of all, I want to say that I love the fact that now I get to see Buck's sense of humor, even in the reading of his will. I was like, what? This guy.
I'm telling you, there's so much untapped potential for this character. Why was you know? I mean, I know some
Something
deleted
that
scenes,
I didn't
but
know was Buck in his will of sound mind and superlative body. I was like, yes.
Yes.
come on.
Thank you, Bill and Dave.
Yeah,
they knew me, and that's why they put something like that.
That
in
was
there.
a
So
great line. And then they're all like hammered,
I mean,
wasted.
beyond hammered.
I mean, it was ridiculous.
Even in death, I'm giving them a hard time. All right, I'm sending you guys on one more mission. I'm sending you out to nowhere battlefield, and I'm making you do my history.
Jeez.
And so, and they say that that's a part of it. And I love even that scene where Tammy, she's wasted in the bar right there, and they're ready to go. They're like, we would die for them then, we will die for him now.
Yeah.
Because he died for you.
There was something so scary, powerful about just seeing the bag, and I'm like, Buck's in there? Like, that just messed with me so bad.
Yeah.
Like, 2 seconds ago, you were just like one of the guys, and now this is all that's left. It was
Or even
a lot
like,
to take in.
even when they had to go to Tammy's house, like what it must be like for you to have to go tell the wife of your brother
Oh my God,
that he's
that was-
gone, and bring the flag and that whole thing. And then I noticed that on the porch they had Texas there, and I was like, you're from Texas. Did they do that on purpose? They put the Texas.
Oh yeah,
They had Texas
everywhere. Yeah.
I mean, the flag that they're actually handing her isn't the flag, the American flag. It's actually the Texas flag that I hang in my locker. And even from episode 1, you can see that Texas flag there. And you could walk through the house. I mean, everything was Texas. I mean, they turned it on for me, and I was like,
Yes.
thank you. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
And even the patch that Barry is holding, and he's sitting there holding I had a Texas flag patch, and it represents something bigger than me. It represents the entire state of Texas where I'm from. And I mean, everybody had their little patch, and that's the little flair that I wanted. But Edwin, he's got Black Rifles Matter on his chest.
I love it.
And I had one on my back that said "Just the tip, I promise," and it was a bullet. And so it's like everybody has their little flair, but that Texas patch, you will see, I'm guessing in episode 6, who that patch goes on to. And so there's a passing of the torch there.
Okay.
But I'm proud that I get to represent Texas. I mean, that's home.
Yeah. During your funeral scene, I know you wanted to ask about them slamming
it on the coffin. I didn't know what that meant or why they
the
do
significance
that.
of all that. And
From what I know, the first time that happened was in 2006, and it was started by the SEALs, but it has gone to even other parts of the armed forces.
Okay.
One of the cases that I read the most of was Chris Kyle. When he passed, there were hundreds of emblems there, and they said it took over 30-40 minutes, and you could hear the slamming throughout the entire graveyard site, and that it just goes from a regular wooden box to a golden adornment to that person, and it is just a massive amount of respect in death that person takes. And there was a lot of emotions when it came to this scene. I don't mind throwing this guy under the bus on this one. Kyle,
Oh, good.
Kyle cried in my arm probably 3 times after this episode had come out. Episode 4 and episode 5, when we find out what had happened.
Yep.
We went out and we had our nights of really drinking. And he's like, man, how could they do this to you? And I was like, I'm being honest with you, man. I've known since February. He's like, how could you not tell me? And I just didn't want that to be what it was about. And
Right.
So we had our nights where it was real. There was no acting involved. There was a scene that I wish would have made it in, but Juan Pablo Raba, I mean, these guys are like my brothers, but this guy, we had a very close bond. And he's standing over me when I'm bleeding out there on the battlefield, and we're looking each other hand in hand. There is no acting there. I mean, that's real pain that you felt, because I didn't want to leave. I didn't want to leave my brothers.
No.
This is something that we use.
We didn't want you to leave
Yeah.
either, Bob.
Oh my God.
I was not happy.
And there was a moment he's standing over me, and he's like, "Don't look at me with those baby blue eyes."
Oh,
and
jeez.
I was like, "Jesus Buddha," and he's like, "Don't Jesus Buddha me," and he starts singing there right there on the spot. Lord, it's hard to be humble, and oh man, he and I both broke right there, and none of that makes it into it,
Right.
But that was powerful, and
got
there
so
was a
powerful,
scene
right.
tonight, Juan, with his wife Nadine on the show.
Oh
and
my God, that
how
sex scene?
powerful was that? I mean,
It just goes to show everyone reacts differently to these casualties of war. I mean, he reacted to it during sex. So, I mean...
Juan, I'm sorry you're thinking about me while you're having sex with the sexy Nadine Velasquez.
I mean, first of all,
Fuck
she
with the
is,
jokes now, too. I love it.
she's gorgeous, gorge.
So
But
pretty,
it,
yeah.
She's all right.
but that
Sexy.
Nothing compared to Tammy.
that sex scene, you know, because usually Calder's the one having all the sex in the show. But I really appreciated, although sometimes I watch sex and I'm like, but in this moment, it wasn't just about sex. Because at first I was like, really? We're just going to show Buddha having sex? But then that intimacy, real intimacy, where it's bigger than just physicality, but what he and his
powerful.
wife, oh my God,
So powerful.
great acting.
Juan, you sold that moment.
Yes.
Juan.
Yep.
Amazing acting.
Yes,
I was like,
yes.
wow, I felt the pain. I was like, and then the cry was like, ooh,
Every week this show's getting better.
it
And
keeps, I don't want it to go away.
and the thing that really got me was that end scene after we see what's happening on your webcam, and Codler, and he
Yeah.
enters the scene with your wife, or Buck's wife, and
And it
I'm
just
like,
sucks because just when him and Dharma were getting close,
Yeah.
and she likes her dad, now she's like, you're a
but
piece
I
of...
just wish that you didn't die, because I wanted that to be that, not love triangle, but I wanted you to be able to confront your brother about that. I mean, he's your brother, and he's doing that behind your
Let me
back.
set the record straight
Okay.
on this. Tammy never cheated on me. Not in life.
Okay.
Only
So,
in death.
oh.
She's standing there next to the bed, and she's just not, I mean, I had
Is
my
that a
doubts.
spoiler alert that you just gave us?
No.
I have my doubts. I have my suspicions.
Okay.
And the truth is, I bet a lot of men, when they're gone at war and you're not home, you see what your wife's doing, everything. And I think I've got ahead of the curve because I've got video cameras and I can prove it to myself.
Yeah.
And I never saw it in life. And there's this moment that in death, he's there trying to help her. He's bringing these things, and she just doesn't know what to do with
So that's
herself
what we're
anymore.
seeing. We're not.
So
we're-
it happened.
It's
Calder
happening-
and Tammy
okay.
happened during
and
All
you-
right, that's
grieving.
good to know. I would, because we don't know, right?
It
As an
was
audience,
grieving.
right?
It might divulge more in episode 6 to where it goes, but that moment right there does not happen in my life.
Is that a fair assumption, though, for the audience members to think that she was cheating on you with Calder, or no? Or is it just me just being Mr.
You have to
Drama
be
over
paying.
here?
You have to be paying
That-
very,
you
very good
didn't
attention.
think so either, then?
That would be a very close thing. She's like, I don't know what to wear. I don't know
Right.
how to do this. How am I
Right.
supposed to
Okay.
carry on?
So
She's
it-
like, I just need to be held. And the original script, it kind of went another way that it's like it could have been more.
Okay.
But she is hurting. She is
Mm-hmm.
in pain. She
Fair
has
enough.
just
Yeah.
been left alone. Buck did not come home.
Right.
And that breaks her. And who else to be closer but to his brothers? And that's not the position Calder wanted to put himself in.
I would
in
hope
that
not,
moment.
right.
That's
But
not.
he's grieving too. You
Yes.
know, like they're both grieving, and that grief is powerful. Not that it makes it.
And the simplest
Okay,
thing of
right.
just
Yeah.
the off screen, just like, I need to be held. And you hear that just off screen, I need to be held. and you don't know where this might go, might not.
Okay, fair enough.
But his Dharma sees this, and she can jump to her own assumptions.
Right. She's a teenager.
I was with Dharma then.
You're still
I
a
jumped.
dog that would go and do something like this.
Yeah.
To your own brother. So, yeah, I mean...
Which is a fair enough assumption, I guess, because we are seeing him just have unemotional sex with a ton of women during the
But in real
series.
life, I've heard of stories where they're not dead and they're still sleeping with
Fair enough.
some
Yeah,
other member.
exactly.
So
yeah.
this does happen.
No, it does happen.
All right, we're running up to the hour here. We got like about 4 minutes left here. Should we just jump in and rip in Michael real quick and let's do that?
Let's do it because Dominic already told me if we don't talk about him, I'm gonna be in big trouble.
But I will go ahead and say this: she's been shouting out. She's got her Dominic crush, but she still says she's Team Bear. So
hey, you know,
you noticed it too. It's not just me. It's not just me
I've
noticing.
been saying it from the beginning though, like. He's the Christian man.
Yeah, because it's so popular to be Team Dominic.
I left the bad boys a long time ago. I'm Team the good Christian man. Come on, somebody.
Right.
So, yes.
You know what's so sad? I had a whole game set up for you guys to play and see if you guys knew how well you both knew the cast.
Speed rattle, go.
Oh my god. Okay, I can go real fast here. All right. Which cast member valeted cars and sold cowboy boots to make ends meet before getting his first big break? It's one of the main characters. You had no idea? I had to look these up.
No, I don't know.
I'm going to say Barry.
You're going to say Barry.
I don't know.
It's probably Jalen.
It's actually Rip. It's Walton Goggins.
Walton Goggins.
Yeah, he did that. You'll know this one. Which cast member is Canadian? Kyle. Which cast members are English?
Barry.
And
Dominic.
That's correct. Do you know where they're from? Can you?
No.
Liverpool. And
Liverpool's
you have to
is
know
Barry.
that Dominic grew up in a castle. I mean, he comes from the.
Look at the
So
hair.
there's your prince right
Look
there.
at the hair.
Bristol.
I need to know. Okay.
This one I'll just do this one real quick. Which cast member starred in a Disney Channel original movie about bowling?
That would be Kyle.
That'd be Kyle. Oh, I used to love Alley Cat Strike. I
told
watched
him
it so
about-
many
He talked
damn
about that.
times.
I'm gonna have to go watch that one. We've
You
talked
gotta
about
watch
it many
it.
times. We're bowling nerds. Me and
Really?
we go bowling up at Pins here.
I
in,
love
I love
bowling.
Pins right
Yeah.
there. Yeah, right there in the valley.
Love
Oh
the
my
team.
god. Last one here. Which cast member has a huge crush on my co-host Sally?
Me.
We're gonna pretend it's Michael too, because she wants to be Michael.
Loves me.
She wants to be Barry, but he's married, so we can't
Yes,
go there.
I can't have Barry.
She's gonna be Team Donnie because Buck's dead. So
Oh jeez, poor Buck.
He's gonna be my Boaz. Hello.
here I am.
Donnie, it has been a pleasure
Yes,
having
it's
you
been
on,
so much
man.
fun.
It's been
Thank you,
awesome.
Sally.
Yes.
Thank you.
You guys can catch Six every week, you know,
Yes.
7 p.m. on the East Coast, 10 p.m. out here on the West Coast. We're here live at AfterBuzz TV, always talking every week. I'll get to everything.
Okay.
Don't you?
No, I was gonna. No.
My name is Daniel Lindgren. You can follow me at the Dan Lindgren on Instagram and Twitter. Also, Kiss and Tell Show for more of my comedy. Check it out. Sally?
Hey y'all, I'm Sally. You can catch me on all things social media at Sally Hangout, and I'm on Jane the Virgin on Mondays right here on AfterBuzz. And you know, next week Dan will get into it. I'll get into it. We'll talk about our predictions and all that because Donnie gave us all his time.
Donnie, go for it. Shout outs,
Congratulations,
buddy.
Sally. Name's Donny Boaz. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. A couple movies coming up.
Oh.
Got to look at them
Oh,
here.
hey,
Give one out.
Chicago Justice coming up here soon. Road Less Travel and Wicked Love. Thank you, Jesus.
Yay.
Everyone tune in for that
Won't
for
he do
sure.
it?
And thank you guys. Signing out. Woo!
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.